Hey guys, this is Andy with Get Your Wellies. My wife and I just got back from a 2-week road trip all up through the northwest. Very pretty. State parks and national parks, lots of places to go, and we had a great time. But I'm back. Tonight's project on this beautiful evening is to dig up our sweet potatoes, and I'm optimistic that we will have some. So join me as I do that. But first of all, as always, why don't you get your wellies, meet me in the garden. So guys, I'm here sitting right by my sweet potato vines over here. They still look lush and good. They've done really well this year. So the proof is in the pudding, as they say. So I'm gonna have to dig down a little bit in here and see what exactly we have. I'm currently surrounded by crazy looking okra that's taken over, but let's have a look and see what we got. So I'm gonna reach down here and just see what we have underneath this straw. So I'm just moving back the vines, and they are kind of everywhere. Probably should put some gloves on, but it'll be alright. So let's take away the straw layer, and this really does help kind of stop the weeds and stuff. So I'll move that back, and then with these vines kind of go everywhere, but I originally planted 8 plants in here, and these tubers will grow all over the place. So I'm just going to dig down, scrape below the soil. So like I said, I'm fairly optimistic. This is literally the first time that I've gone looking, and so this is gonna tell me what I got here. So we're just scraping down here to see. Sometimes you have to go kind of deep. I am finding some of the runners and stuff off of these tubers, and just kind of have to follow those around a bit. I feel like these may be deeper than they were last year, and so I pulled just a few. There wasn't as many right away, but they're all deep. So far pulled 3, and they're all good sized. Alright guys, this is what we got after the first dig, and there's a lot more digging to do. This stuff is deep, so I'm going to come back after a while and get some more. Alright guys, so here I am the next day. I'm going to go ahead and pull all these vines off and then get to dig in some more, because these potatoes, at first I thought I didn't have very many, and then I realized they're just really deep. So, and I don't want to really use tools because I don't want to tear any of them up. So I'm going to take all these vines off. I'm going to speed up through that for you. So guys, I got a few more potatoes. I'll weigh the total amount in the house before we put them up to cure. I may look for a few more, but at this point I'll probably use my fork to try and see what else is left in there, if anything. But I think I got most of the big ones out. It looks like the potatoes kind of produced bigger ones and just not as many of them, which is fine. We can cut those up for use, so that's good. and there's a few small ones. So overall, not bad. As easy as sweet potatoes are, you really, once they're in, you really don't have to do much with them at all. They're great. This soil is nice and moist. The only thing here, we have a lot of clay, so everything below the raised bed is pretty hard, and some of them were difficult to get out for that reason. So I may rethink this and do big tubs again next year, but I'll give that a little bit more thought. First, anyway, I'm going to show you here in a minute how I do the curing process for sweet potatoes, and this might be helpful for you too. So you guys who've been following the channel for a while know that in the springtime I use this little cart that's got my Aero Grows on it. It's got seed trays. I have these lights that are adjustable, and heat mats under here. So this time of year we're really not planting any seeds at the moment, so these seed trays are a little bit redundant, and this is something I tried last year which worked well. But I put my sweet potatoes in here, and they actually do quite well to cure them. So you'll need to set your temperature at 90, and it'll take just a little bit for it to get up there, and you want to keep the cover on kind of loosely. It doesn't have to be on there tight, it doesn't have to get crazy humid, but it'll get a little humid in there, but it does help to keep the temperature in. The light, of course, you don't need to have the light on, there's not a reason for that, but I just wanted to show you that setup. I think I did show that last year, but you can do these in batches. We're probably going to have to do 2 rounds to get all my potatoes in, you know, that's a good way of curing them. You put them on there 90 degrees. You'll want to go about a week. Eventually, just left, they will cure even at a fairly cool ambient temperature, but the best way to cure them, honestly, is to just put them on some heat for a little while. Some people use a whole big tote and put them in there, and again sit it on the heat mat, but this has worked well for me because it's equipment that I use but I'm not using this time of year. So that's just a suggestion for you. Well guys, each time I go through my bed I find a couple more sweet potatoes down at the bottom, but I pretty much turn this over. We got close to 30 pounds, so not a huge harvest, but not terrible either. Definitely these are nicer tasting sweet potatoes than the regular, and they are good as well, but I feel like the harvest may not have been quite as big. The potatoes we got were very nice. Most of them were a good size, similar to what we would buy in the store. So this bed now just has got to be turned over, and go ahead and put some amendments in, and then we'll probably use the same bed next year, and I may do a side-by-side experiment with one of the tubs again next year and see how we do out of that. Well, thank you guys for joining me on the channel. I hope that this series on growing the Japanese purple sweet potatoes has been useful for you, and I hope you get some encouragement to give this a try yourself. It was so much fun to give a lot of people really nice healthy slips at the beginning of the year, and I'm waiting to see how their harvest showed up this year too, so I'll look forward to hearing about that. I will see you in just a couple days where we do some planting out here of some crops that will survive the winter, so join me then in just a few days here on Get Your Wellies. Take care guys, see you later, and until then, bye now.